Ramadan tyranny arrested for eating in public. In another display of Islamist oppression, more than 20 Muslims in northern Nigeria's Kano state have been arrested simply for eating in public during Ramadan, with five more detained for selling food. The state's Sharia police, the Hisbah, have vowed to continue their crackdown, with the Deputy Commander Mujahid Aminudeen declaring, quote, we won't condone that. And that's why we went out to make arrests. The religious enforcers even rely on tip offs from outraged citizens to hunt down those daring to eat before sundown. Those caught are hauled before a Sharia court and punished accordingly. Unlike last year, when some were released after promising to comply. Adding to the authoritarian absurdity, the Hisbah also confirmed that they've arrested people for inappropriate haircuts. I want to know what that means. They're arresting people for inappropriate haircuts, for wearing shorts, and for even tricycle drivers, like on the little motorcycles, whatever, little buggy drivers, mixing male and female passengers on their little motorized tricycle. So they're arresting people for this. While non-Muslims are exempt, the message is clear. In Kano, violating Islamic law, even for just eating, comes with serious consequences. Um, so yeah, bad haircuts are not allowed during Ramadan. Now, I want to know what an inappropriate haircut could be. I don't know.
I mean, I'm very familiar with that. This used to be get us in trouble in Iran all the time. Haircuts that look like kind of like, I don't know, like makes you look like a punk or like radical or like weird cuts here and there, like making it colorful here or making your half of your head bald over there, or long hair for men, feminine looking hair for men. Anything that is not basically the norm.
Yeah.
This is hijab for men, by the way.
Well,
Yeah.
and the shorts are hijab for men too. A lot of people don't know this, but the part
Yes.
of the male body that is their hijab is basically from the belly button to the knees. So a man is supposed to cover, according to some schools of thought, from the belly button to the knees. That, and then
But
also that
yeah,
lowering the gaze
but
is
in
their
Iran,
hijab.
it depends on who you ask. Depends on which, because in Iran, men would get in trouble back in the day, not now, but like when I was in Iran, we would get in trouble for wearing like this is like me showing too much skin. This
You whore.
I would.
You slut.
All right.
Sorry. Calling men sluts is like so funny to me always. Look at how
Yeah,
much he
yeah, no.
likes.
Oh god.
No, but Armin, I want to
Yeah.
hear about your stories of like trying to hide food during Ramadan and stuff. You have some great stories, and the stories of the tube with the coffee and the beard. Can you tell that story?
Yes. Yes. Before I mention those stories, may I remind everybody, please stay, drink a lot of water, stay hydrated. Don't let anybody tell you that dry fasting is good for you. That's fucking bullshit. Even if there's types of fasting that could potentially be good for some people given certain conditions, that is water fasting, meaning that you don't eat food for a period of time, but you drink water. There's almost no benefit, unless you're very rare situations, to people not drinking water for a long period of time. Islamic fasting is extremely harmful. Okay, not because you're not eating food, that's fine, but because you're not drinking water for a very long period of time, that is fucking Horrible. That's not recommended. Stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, do not fast, do not dry fast, which is the Islamic type of fasting, right? So there's that.
Oh, and also
Yeah.
to everyone in our community who is forced to fast right now, like Wikar, and we have a lot of other people in our community who are being forced to dry fast right now.
Right.
Organizations like Faithless Hijabi have a lot of resources to teach you how to secretly break your fast and not get caught. So there are
Yeah.
resources for the ex-Muslims who are forced to fast right now.
Yeah, but stay safe, people, okay? So in Iran, when I was in Tehran University, there was this corner that people who brought food would go hide there to eat their food, right? During Ramadan, right? And there was also these ways that when we brought food, we had to use like we had to make sure that the smell, because we would carry it in our backpack, right? And if you didn't wrap it properly, then your backpack would smell like food, and that you would be exposing yourself. You're carrying illegal material. It's like, during Ramadan, food becomes like drugs. Like when you carry, like you feel like a drug dealer, when you're carrying food. Like this is illegal stuff, right? So we
Especially
would
because
bring
Persian
food.
food is, like, so aromatic. Like, I'm trying to imagine, like, carrying a gourmet sabzi around and, like, not having someone smell that. Like or like a
Well,
fesanjoon, like, you're gonna smell a fesanjoon. Like
I mean, to be fair, in Iran we do have sandwiches and other food like that. That's not
yeah.
like they. When,
No,
yeah,
you have to
when you go
tamper
to
it down.
yeah.
No khoresh. Like
Right, right, right. So we would bring our food and we would wrap it in plastic. Like I remember, I would make my sandwiches and I would like wrap it so good that no smell could come out of it. I would come to university and there was this specific place in one of the Danishkade, one of the buildings of our university, that under the stairs, that was like one of the common areas that the ones who were ruzakhari is a sin, which means eating during fasting time, right? So all of the people who are doing ruzakhari will go hide under that those stairs, and we will be eating there. Which I always That's also a good. I remember that was a good place always to pick up girls, because that's where all the kids who violate the rules basically are. If a girl is there eating, that this is a girl that is um you know kind of like rebellious, or basically not interested in following the norms, right? So it was also a good place to pick up girls. And yeah, but it was something. And also, you told me about my uncle. My uncle had a huge beard, and I remember he had this. He's very addicted to his coffee, so he could not drink coffee in the morning while he was driving to work. And so one thing he did, because during non-Ramadan days, he would just drink coffee on his way to work in his car. But during Ramadan, because he had a huge beard, what he did, he had a straw that went under his beard to his mouth. So while he was driving, he would slowly sip on his coffee without like showing that he's drinking on anything. So that was what he did. Yeah, so coffee addicts, this is a bad time of the month for them. And also, it was also bad for my dad, because my dad loves swimming. That was his main exercise. And during Ramadan, they would close down pools, because
because if
you're
you
not
lower your
supposed.
head, it breaks your fast, right?
Yeah, because there are many things that there are a couple of things that breaks your fast. It's not just eating. One of the things that breaks your fast is inhaling a lot of dust or smoke, for example. That would break your fast. Another thing that breaks your fast is that if you are completely submerged underwater. So if you go underwater, if you go all the way up to here, you still haven't broken your fast. If you go all the way until even if you have a tiny little bit of your head still above water, your fast hasn't broken. But as soon as the water touches and you're completely submerged in water, that's the second that your fast is broken, right? So you're basically sinning. if you go and you've broken your fast and you have sinned, you've broken a fast during Ramadan. So you're not supposed to swim. Even or if you're swimming, you're supposed to like swim without keeping your head above water the entire time.
Mhm.
But basically pools just shut down and my dad would not would lose his access to his favorite exercise during Ramadan. I remember that. But now I think they have pools that that only open before and after, at nighttime before the fasting
Oh.
period. So they did that. I also remember in Iran during Ramadan, a lot of restaurants planned their renovation for Ramadan if they have any renovations coming, because those are the times that they're gonna have less customers. So if they want to renovate the restaurant, they plan it to make sure that it's happening during Ramadan.
Doesn't
So that's
sex
another
break
thing.
your fast as well?
I don't think so. I mean, I was a kid, so I didn't have to worry about that. Let me see.
I don't know because I
No.
on like Twitter and Instagram, I'm seeing all these memes of like Muslim couples talking about like their like low key they're talking about their struggles with horniness during Ramadan and how they have to like stay away from each other. I don't know. So that was the implication to me. I could be wrong. Yeah, masturbation breaks fasting, sure.
Oh
Um
yeah, it does break your head. Yeah, actually, I never had to deal with that. They never told us that in school because we were kids and we didn't. I mean, in university we had sex, but I wasn't told. But we didn't. We stopped being educated about. Maybe I forgot about this, but yes, sex does break your fast. That's like fucked up. That's the hardest part. If you can still have sex before and after, before dawn and after dusk. I think you can't just have sex during that dawn to dusk period,
Mhm. Mhm.
which is not
No.
good. I
No.
mean,
Um
after iftar, yes, okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
people are saying,
depending on
yeah.
your
Also, what's the
time zone, like that period could be very fucked up because it's
yeah? Like I think
geographically
if you're
based.
in Norway, that's 20 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
During iftar, are you gonna go for the food first or for your wife first? Like, yeah. Like depending on your main
I'm
urges.
breaking my
By the way,
fast with you,
yes. Oh, yeah, honey. The food looks good, but
but you
I
look
know what
better.
I'm doing for iftar. You look better. um. uh, by
I'm
the way,
thirsty in more
another
ways
thing.
than one. Heyo.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's a good line. um, a lot of people gain weight during Ramadan. A lot of Muslims gain weight during Ramadan. Did you guys know that? Because they overeat in dawn before the morning adhan, and they eat really sugary and fatty food because they're preparing. Like they know that they can't eat for a lot of hours. So in the morning, they just go at it to just make sure they're storing up for that long period. And then during the day, because they're not eating for a long time, they get really, really hungry. And then when they're breaking their fast in the afternoon, they go at it again. And it's a
Well,
lot of
yeah, it's like a
sugary
binge.
food.
It's like a binge cycle.
It's a binge cycle. Yeah. So they're fasting, but they're getting like many of them gain weight during Ramadan. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Wait. Someone is saying. Okay, no, that's something different. Okay, so I just want to say that I have so much sympathy for the people that are forced to fast. That is horrible. Like, for example,
Mm.
Rox here is
Oh,
saying,
sorry.
actually, it's true. I'm afraid to buy food. Or if someone saw me eating, it wouldn't be good at all. Like, you can go find these videos of these, like, pranksters. It's usually, like, an Arab dude who's, like, a prankster YouTuber, and during Ramadan, they'll do pranks to make it look like they're breaking their fast during the day to catch on camera the reactions of people and then be like, "Oh, haha, no, it's a joke, blah, blah, blah." You can go find these videos everywhere. It's supposed to be a joke. But when they film these videos where they're pranking people to think that they're breaking their fast, people, and particularly men around them, react with extreme and instant violence. So I
Mm.
remember watching videos of this like teenager or young like Saudi dude who was pretending that had a hidden camera in his room, and his dad comes in while he's pretending to be like drinking water or something. Like his dad catches
Mm.
him drinking water, and his dad immediately starts beating him. Pulls off
Mhm.
either like a pulls off the, I forget what you call the black thing that like Gulf Arab men use to put their little keffiyeh on, but like whips that thing
Mm.
off and just starts beating on him. And he's like, no, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Like you can find these videos everywhere, and that's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be this like, oh, ha ha, like I got you. But to an
Mm.
outsider, I'm like, this is not normal. To like
Right,
immediate
right.
instant violence. Um, because that's
Yeah.
what happens to people who are breaking their fast. You're like, this is a joke to you because you're not actually breaking your fast, but this is like not a joke to a lot of people. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's horrible. It's horrible.
By the way, do you know that in Iran there's some campaigns to eat during Ramadan in public? So back when I was in Iran, eating outside during Ramadan was like serious risk taking, right? Like you could get beaten up by a cop, like beaten up severely by a cop if they see you eating like food in public or something like that. That was like not a joke. It was really dangerous back then. But now Iranian people, not only it's becoming more normal, and some people are daring the norms of society, and they're like, you know what? Not only we are going to eat in public because fuck you, but we're actually going to turn it into a campaign. So some people on purpose, and also there are a lot of people that like to sin more during Ramadan. So they
Ramadan,
go and
let's
find,
go.
yeah, Ramadan. Yeah, exactly. So people want to, a lot of ex-Muslims especially, want to go out of their way to find, either a sexual or pork related or alcohol related, but they have parties that is like very intentionally sinful with pork, alcohol, and sex, to just say fuck you to Islam.
And in Iran, it's kind of awkward when Ramadan kind of lines up with Nowruz, and the Nowruz season of like Sees the Bedar, like those holidays conflict, and it's just a mess. Um,
Mm.
so wait, let's go through the
Like I can
comments
see,
that D
you can
found.
see a lot. I can see so many people, so many ex-Muslims in our chat have trauma, like traumatic experiences with Ramadan. I can. There's like, for a lot of you, this is like, who are watching this, you might think, oh, Ramadan is this like ritual that they have, but for a lot of ex-Muslims, we have a lot of bad memory and societal pressure and trauma. When for a lot of us, when we hear Ramadan, we just feel this weight, this eye in the sky watching us, this weight of society on our shoulder. It's just this feeling of disgust. And yeah, I can relate. I mean, some of these feelings are because it was like so long ago for me, 20 years ago, are less present in my mind than it used to. But when I see other ex-Muslims talk about the discuss, I can still feel it coming back, and I remember how it used to feel. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those things where from someone who's never been Muslim from the outside, like the holiday legitimately doesn't seem very fun, you know? Like there are some
Yeah.
cultures where you're like, "Oh, like I don't know, like Purim seems super fun. Nowruz super fun." Those kinds of things. Or Chinese New Year. You're like, "Oh my god, that looks super fun." But I've for Ramadan I was always like, "This doesn't seem like a good time," you know? Or like my friends
Yeah.
who
It's
were immigrants to America and they're like, "Yeah, I made my parents do Christmas because it looks like so much fun." I don't know, it never seemed like a
and
good
and
time.
Shias make it even worse, because you
'Cause they
you might look at all of it and you think like this doesn't look like fun, but Shias look at Sunni Ramadan and like that actually looks fun compared to what the fuck we're doing. Because Shias go out of their way to kill, to just destroy the joy and suck the joy out of everything. I know Islam as a whole seems joyless, but Shias are something else. Like, I think Shias are just an anti-joy cult.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then there's Eid, and you see the pictures of like just blood running down the sidewalks from Eid. It's like, what is happening? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know not everyone
By the
does
way,
that for Eid, but
the Shias are the best. The only thing that Shias are really good at is like morning ceremonies, mornings, and like funerals and
crying,
crying and
hitting
hitting
themselves.
yourself and yes, shit like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're expert at sucking joy out of everything. That's
This
why
is
they
not good
always.
marketing,
Hmm.
you know.
I mean, it's good marketing for people who hate themselves, I guess. Um,
Shit.
yeah. Okay. Man, literally. Okay. So there was these comments.
Yes. Yeah, so this person is saying Afghanistan region of Nigeria. Look, it's not
Uh,
that bad, but it's not great.
mm.
Kano, yeah. Um, and this person is saying youths are gradually getting tired of religion. That's what's going to be interesting to see because Nigeria is such a young country. Saying this isn't
Okay,
a
I don't
religion
like.
anymore. This is now a tyranny. This is
No,
standard
no, no,
though.
no, no. This is completely a religion. Guys, please do not defend religion by saying stuff like that. This is religion in its purest form. Yeah.
We got a few super chats.
Oh,
So
thank you
Jack
guys.
Johnson is saying in Helsinki, Finland, schools tell parents not to make or encourage their kids to fast during school. Kids fasting has led to concentration problems. Well, of course. I mean, how many times do we have a campaign to end child hunger? And they're like, it's bad to have kids be hungry because they can't learn because you're hungry. I mean, it's not
Right.
rocket science. Although, Armin, to be honest, when you're growing up, do you have to start fasting? Is it when you reach the age of maturity, quote unquote?
Yeah, for girls it's 9, for boys
Oh
it's
god.
15.
Yeah.
So it's worse for girls.
Because I know that I've heard stories from my friends who are ex-Muslim talking about how even when they were children and they didn't have to fast, they started to fast because they got so much praise from their family and community. Like, oh look, you don't even have to, but you're fasting. And it's not good
So
for little kids.
we have, for kids they have something called a half fast in Iran. I don't know if they have it in other Islamic. So if you're a boy under 15 and a girl under 9, so if you're a girl and you hit 9, you're supposed to fast your Ramadan completely. And if you're a boy, you hit 15, you have to fast completely. But some society encourages to get children to do half fasting so that when they reach the age of maturity they already have
Mm,
practice, so it's not hard for them to fast. So half fasting, I think it's from more morning till noon or something, I don't know exactly, but it is a.
mhm.
Oh yeah, so people are saying we have it too. Okay, so yeah, so apparently
Yeah.
other Islamic societies have half fasting. Okay.
Um Durga sent a super chat. Thank you for the Swedish krona saying, I used to live in Saudi in the 90s. Theoretically, non Muslims don't need to fast, but they are not allowed to rest at the office. Also, researchers showed how fasting during pregnancy affects fetuses. Oh my God. I mean, obviously, you
Oh,
shouldn't fast when you're pregnant. That you're exempt, right? You're exempt from fasting if you're on your
you should
period.
be exempt. Aren't you exempt Islamically if
But I know
you're,
some
because we
women
would.
feel pressured by their family to still fast because they don't want their family to know that they're on their period because that's awkward. Also, they have to make up their
No,
fast later,
no, if
or
you're
even
pregnant,
when
are
they're
you
on their
exempt?
period and they're not fasting, like, they're kinda shamed by their family. Like, people look at them like,
Okay.
"Ugh," like judgment.
Okay, pregnant women do not need to fast. Okay, so please do not fast if you're pregnant. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't eat at the office. Yeah, can't eat. Yeah,
Yeah.
you mean they cannot eat. Yeah, so Islamically, the law is for non-Muslims that they don't need to fast, but they are not allowed to eat in front of Muslims. They would get in trouble if they eat in front of Muslims. Like even sick
Yeah.
people who are not even sick people, for example, Islamically, if you're sick, you are not required to fast, but you are required to eat your food in private, not in front of Muslims.
What if you have diabetes? Are you allowed to eat throughout the day? Like, that would count,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah, you are allowed to eat, but you should do it privately where nobody sees you. Like I remember actually people, like we had teachers that had diabetes and they had candies, and like they were in class and they would have to, like, they would, like, their blood sugar would drop or something. I don't know what happened, like when, and they would have to, like, they would take their candy and they would go out of the class and eat their candy and they will come back in. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Kalikunjiski, that's what it's called.
What?
The half fast. The half
Oh.
fasts are called head of little birds. I don't know what to say. I didn't know how to translate that in English. Never mind. Okay, Kalikunjiski. Okay, okay, okay.
Engagement say,
Um,
I take breaks from
Kalikunj-
certain kinks in coffee so they retain their potency. Is that fasting? I
no,
guess. I mean, I call that
Islam, not Islamic.
a tolerance break. Taoists have weird fasting rules depending on their sect.
Mm.
There's lots of different interesting reasons to do fasting, and within different
I
like ideologies and spiritualities, there's different reasons. It's kind of interesting to
I
me.
hated when I hated when intermediate fasting was becoming a thing. That Muslims going around like, see, we told you fasting has gas. Like, this is not. First of all, intermediate fasting
The
works only
wisdom of
for people.
Islam, we were right.
th- We were right. See, this proves Islam is wise. Before, like, this is like only modern medicine has realized something that Muhammad knew like 1400 years ago. This shows that Islam is right about
Quran
every
is right
fucking
once
thing.
again. Like,
Fuck you, man. This is not the same thing. Intermediate fasting involves drinking a lot of water. Okay, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not the same thing. God, it's, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, we got
Oh,
another super
Gasian
chat.
just gave a
Oh.
super chat saying, I remember seeing a TikTok that compared no ethical consumption under capitalism with evangelical denial of joy. It might be some people just hate joy. I think if we really want to get into it, it's that some ideas and ideologies are so totalitarian that they actually require elimination of traits and qualities that make us human. And so, for example, under communism, it's this elimination of greed and self-interest and self-centeredness, which is an essential element of being human. So, for a communist utopia to work, that element of being a human needs to be eliminated, which ultimately means that humans are going to be eliminated. Um, and different ideologies just fixate on different traits and take it to an extreme. I don't know if that made sense, but just that's my understanding of studying a lot of different cult and fundamentalist groups.
Um, this all started. I had to look up the English version of this religion, but all of this joy, anti-worldly pleasure ideas came from Manichaeism, which is, in Persian we call it something else. But this all came from there. It wasn't originally in Judaism. It Saint Augustine, who used to be from this, it's a religion that came from Iran, and there's like it doesn't exist anywhere anymore. It's not Zoroastrianism that came from Iran. This is another religion that came from Iran. It's actually first global religion that disappeared, that took the globe very fast, and also disappeared very fast. But Saint Augustine, who used to be from this religion that came from Iran, he took it to the Catholic faith, and then it spread into Christianity, and from Christianity spread into Islam, and then from Christianity it also sometimes seeped into some corners of Judaism as well. But it came from Manichaeism, um, and it's basically the whole idea of the body being disgusting, earthly pleasures being disgusting. The whole apple in the Genesis wasn't supposed to represent the a relationship between Eve and the devil until Saint Augustine in an attempt to make worldly pleasures disgusting and vile, reframed it like that. The story was changed because of Manichaeism. So if you're saying in Abrahamic religions there's a disgust, and in communism or in religion there's a disgust towards this worldly pleasures and food and sex and anything else, it comes from Manichaeism.
And it's different than Manichaeism is different than Mandeism, which still exists, right?
I don't know. I know these names mostly in Persian, so it's Manichaeism. I don't know what you're referring to when it comes to Mandeism.
Mandeism is a different religion. Sorry, I just needed to look that up and clarify myself.
Yeah, I don't know what Mandeism is. I just know.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let me just look at the Persian version. Yeah, Aina Monavi, which was like Manichaeism. Yeah, it's very interesting how not many people know about this religion much, given though it was like before Christianity was a world religion. This was a world religion, like because before Christianity and Manichaeism, each geography had their own religion. Right now the only religions that we know that are actually global are Christianity and Islam. But before Christianity and Islam, this was a global religion that didn't recognize borders. All other religions were
China.
Yeah, it was like all over the place. It came from Iran and it took over very fast.
And this is why, as an ex-Catholic, I have sex shame.
Yes,
God damn you!
Yeah, the sex shame that you're experiencing in Catholicism comes from Iran, comes from Manichaeism from Iran.
Look at what your people did to me.
Yes,
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay,
so Yusuf is saying so here's Yusuf saying, isn't Buddhism a universal religion? So what I was saying is universal and global are two separate things, right? So at that time, Buddhism was not global, like it wasn't all over the place. Manichaeism, if you look at the map of where Manichaeism went, it was actually global. Beyond being universal, it was everywhere. Sorry, Susie. I know we have to move on. Come back, Susie. I'm sorry. This is so interesting for me. That's why I have to talk about it. Right. Oh wait, Rox had said there was this comment was, Susie, come back. I apologize. I should have one of those Shia chains here and start hitting myself for talking too much about. I'm wearing. This is not black. I know it looks black, so it looks very Shia, but it's actually blue. So I am properly dressed for. Okay, Susie.
Yes.
Yes.
Rox is saying, by the way, true story, I'm sick. I have a high fever and feel dizzy currently, but my mom refuses to let me take medicine until I finish fasting for the day. Which sucks.
What?
I'm so sorry, Rox. I hope you feel better. And this
Wait,
is like
that's un-Islamic. You're sinning technically if you're sick and fasting. Tell your mom, you're making me sin. Tell her that.
Mufti Armin told me so.
Yes, say I heard this from an actual legit mufti that this is not okay Islamically, that I'm sinning right now.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.